What's up, YouTube? It's Juice Beats, and it's race week for me. I'm headed down to Rock Hill, South Carolina this Saturday, October 8th, for the MAC Race Series race at Rock Hill Criterium course. If you've watched my videos before, you'll know that this is my second time at this course this year, and I'll link the video in the comments from that race. So, what better way to get ready for this race week than posting my first official race in Category B on Zwift? I finally moved up in categories, and I wanted to see how I would fare in a seemingly faster race than I'm used to. So here we go. This one is called Oh My Crit, and of course, with all Zwift races, gotta start out fast. See, I'm pushing well over 400 watts for this first part here. And this whole first part is just the lead in, so we're just being led in at this point, and it is already pretty fast. So I believe this is a 12-mile course, and I believe it's about 3 laps or so. So I'm super excited about this MAC Series race coming up this Saturday. After the Winston-Salem race, I posted the video, and I thought that was actually the last race of the year. But then when I looked on the calendar, I saw that there were a couple more dates available to be able to race this year, and it happened to be the MAC Series. So there's the 8th and the 29th. Now, I know I've already signed up for the 8th, so I am able to do the 8th. I'm not sure about the 29th yet. I still got some things I got to work out. So this may be my last race of the year that I'm going to do. We shall see. But I'm definitely excited about it. I have been getting ready, training a lot harder the last few weeks since the last race. Just trying to keep my VO2 max up and my endurance, and I know since I've been on this course before, I know that there's a bit of a hill on it, so I definitely want to be prepared for that. Been checking out some videos online as well, seeing that a lot of people like to attack on that hill. The last race we didn't really see that very much, just because I think it was too windy for something like that. The winds were anywhere from 10 miles an hour to 20 miles an hour that day, and they were pretty big gusts on that back stretch going into that hill. So if you wanted to try to attack, it would have been very tough, and you definitely would have used a lot of energy trying to push through that headwind that day. So we'll see. Hopefully it's not as windy this time, and I got to be prepared for those attacks on that hill. Now, I know from my last video, there are a few people that commented that are actually going to be at the race, so it's good to know that I'll be racing with some guys that were at the Winston-Salem race this last time. So that'll be good to be able to see those guys again, and also I know who the marked men are kind of now. I'm getting to know some of the other riders in my category, and it's good to know who's a strong rider. So if I need to, I can maybe draft on them or at least follow them as closely as possible. All right, so I've sped forward just a little bit here. I just wanted to, make the video a little bit shorter for the viewers. But here I am, just sitting in with the pack, going back and forth between the front and the back of the pack. the way Zwift does their racing algorithms with, everybody else that's on the internet racing. It's kind of hard to tell exactly where you're at. You can see like I'm sitting in the pack at some points, but it's saying I'm in second place, and then I'll be sitting towards the back or something like that, and it's really hard to tell exactly like what place. But I just kind of look over to the side on the right there, and you can see like where it's jumping about a bit here. But basically moving up into category B here, I am pushing a bit harder than I was in the category C, I think, throughout this entire race. But I think my fitness and my endurance is much better at this point. So definitely feeling much better being able to do this race and sitting in very well at this point. So I sped forward a bit again here. I just wanted to get to the point where we're a little over halfway done. Got about 5 miles left in the race, and I'm still sitting pretty in this race. I remember on this day when I decided to move up to this category B. The reason why I did that is because I actually moved up in categories on real racing. So I went from a Cat 5 to a Cat 4. So I just wanted to see, now that I'm not technically a beginner category, I wanted to see how I would do in these category Bs on Zwift. And it is definitely a bit tougher to hang on, definitely putting out more watts than I normally would at the end of this race or towards the end of this race. So I'm definitely feeling it at this point in the race. My heart rate looks like it's holding steady around 170, 171 here. So I'm not redlining or anything like that. I think my max heart rate is like 183 or something like that. So not redlining or anything yet, but I'm up there and it's still climbing. Another thing I remember about this race is I wanted to be able to stay in the peloton. So what that meant was trying not to fall off the back, because a lot of times you can get into this lull in some of these races on Zwift where you think you're doing well and you kind of drop the watts a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're off the back. So from that standpoint, I definitely wanted to keep my watts up and be able to stay in the peloton. There were a few times where I was getting towards the back and I was like, oh crap, I need to push a little bit more. So I was hitting some of those lulls a little bit, like, oh, I'm feeling good, this is fine, I can just kind of cruise a little bit. But that's when I noticed that I was falling off the back a little bit. You can see a little bit right here that I am falling off the back, and now I'm having to push back to get with the peloton. So I'm having to burn a little bit of a match at this point. So I'm sitting 37th out of 53, and yeah, I'm having to close the gap. Luckily, I was able to do that and hang on to the back at this point here with about 3.7 miles left. All right, so I fast forwarded a bit to about 1.5 miles to go, and I'm still sitting good in the peloton at this point. But one thing I wanted to talk about, because I've noticed this at the end of races a lot of times, this is where a lot of people take off, and it's crazy to me because normally, in outdoor races, you're not taking off with so many miles left, or at least a full mile left, or a kilometer left, or something like that. Usually it's around, 200 to 400 meters where people are starting to ramp up for the sprint. But here on these Zwift races, it's a little different for some reason. The last few that I've been in, people have taken off with a kilometer to go, and I'm just baffled by that. How they can take it up a notch after doing this amount of work for this amount of time, basically. So I'm just wondering, you know, I've heard people cheat and stuff like that with the weight doping, and I've heard people even put their e-bikes on their trainers so that they have that extra boost of wattage from their e-bike. But I don't know if that's the case here or anything like that. But it's weird to me that I'm able to hang on for the entire race and be towards the front and within the peloton, within, you know, reach of possible podium, you know, maybe. But, you know, at this point, people are taking off like crazy, just leaving the field with a mile or a little less than a mile to go. That's just crazy to me, how they're able to just take off, and we're already doing a pretty good amount of speed at this point too. Like, why am I getting left behind here doing, you know, close to 800 watts? And I'm having to burn a match to try to get back on the back here. Now, I thought I had a pretty good race for this first category B, but this, yeah, at the end right here, it really is like, what? What just happened? We're getting down to the last little bit here, and Peloton's pulling away. Now, should I be anticipating this at the end of races? Should I be pushing down more watts earlier? Is that, yeah, it's crazy to me to think that the Peloton has just completely taken off and left me behind. And we were all together just at the mile left marker. So ended up, says 34th on or 35th on here. I think on Zwift Power is a little bit better, but I wasn't expecting to go crazy on this race since it was my first category B, but I was just a little baffled by the way things played out towards the end there, and just kind of wondering what happened. So yeah, that's a question that I like to know, because it doesn't quite happen like that on the outside in the races. Usually if there's a breakaway, you kind of see that coming, but it's usually not the entire peloton just taking off on you and you getting left behind, even though you're doing the same amount or more watts. So I don't know, maybe that's something that like Zwift does, like because of your weight or your heart rate or something like that. It could be an algorithm thing, but yeah, I don't want to accuse anybody of cheating or anything like that, because I have no idea. But you know, I have heard things where people have weight doped and all that for races. So I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll be putting out another video hopefully this week of my race essentials before this next race and what I bring to races. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.